All right, so good morning, people of the planet Earth. Okay, we're still on week 8. One of the elements, one of the objectives of week 8, and one of the homework also of week 8 is for you to write an introduction. But you write an introduction following a very specific template or structure, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the intro here. Okay. Uh, Technically, the intro should be around 15% of your text, so more or less 40 words here. I don't want you to write an intro of 200 words or 100 because then there's nothing left in the body paragraphs for you to explore. Okay, so you have to keep this in mind. Now, in your intro, you need two things. There are two elements that are required: the attention getter and the thesis statement. The attention getter is somehow similar to the sujet amené, okay? And the thesis statement is somehow similar to the sujet posé, sujet divisé, but they're in one sentence. So the attention getter is an opening sentence that grabs reader's attention, okay? In this case, the reader is me. And a thesis statement is one sentence that clearly indicates the topic of the essay, what the topic is about. What is the essay about? Okay. Now, let's say the question is this: how does sleep deprivation affect our lives? Here, you would have an example of an intro with the attention getter, with the thesis statement. Okay, so you can pause this if you want to read, but I'll be using that example many times, so you'll have time to read. So my intro here has 41 words, so that's kind of within the range of what we want to do regarding the amount of words. Okay. Now, the attention getter. There are many ways you can have an attention getter. You can quote or paraphrase from a source. You can use facts or stats from a source related to the question. What's important here, it's written from a source related to the question, or from the source related to the question. Don't use something that is out of the blue that has nothing to do with what the question is about. You can ask a question, or you could take a challenging perspective. Let's have a look at some examples. So a quote or paraphrasing, okay? So let's say the question is about sleep deprivation, then you could start with this. According to Sherry Turkle, people who don't sleep enough are blah, 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 and you quote from a source. You could do that, okay? An interesting question, facts or stats, an interesting facts or stats, sorry. Studies show that babies who don't sleep enough, blah, 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 blah. So you use a quote, okay? Stats, facts. You could also ask a question, okay? Who would you be willing to sleep for 23 years in a row so that after that you wouldn't have to sleep at all? That's an interesting question. Now you've just got my attention, right? Or you could have a challenging perspective to something that many people believe to be true. In a world ruled by the concept of FOMO, sleep is a waste of time. Oh, that's interesting, no? Well, maybe you tell me. So technically, so these are the four elements of the four ways you can have an attention getter. You decide which one you want to take. Now, the thesis statement is a little bit different. As I told you, is the sujet amené, sujet posé in one sentence together. So the thesis statement is a sentence that clearly indicates the topic of the essay, normally at the end of the intro. Okay. So the question is this. So in order to do this, you need a question for my part. In order to do an introduction, in order to do a body paragraph, you need a question for my part. So let's say the question: how does sleep deprivation affect our lives? So in a way, the topic is in the question: sleep deprivation. Okay. So the topic in a thesis statement, you need a topic, you need a claim, you need a reason, or in this case here, probably two reasons. So that's why I put parenthesis S over there. Okay. The example of the intro that I provided is this: sleep deprivation has very negative consequences on our cognitive development and can even lead to health problems. Okay, so in this is an example of a thesis statement. Okay, in this thesis statement you have the topic, which is sleep deprivation or lack of sleep. Okay, so that's the topic. The claim here, it's negative. You could decide to claim that it's positive. You could say that you can go wherever, you can claim, you can pretend, whatever it is that you want over there, but you need a claim. So is it positive? Is it negative? In this case, the student or the person suggests that it's negative. And the reasons are, in this case here, it's negative because why? Reason number one, negative on our cognitive development, développement cognitif. And second reason, lead to health problem. So this is going to be body paragraph number one. This is going to be body paragraph number two. So to summarize, okay, this is an example of an intro where you have your attention getter, and here there's kind of a question asked. There's a thesis statement with your topic, claim, and the reasons. And you have a perfect example of an introduction. Thank you, guys.